The week we opened, I had $100 to my name. That was it. I literally looked at my crew before we opened the windows of the food truck and I said, guys, whatever we make is going for you.
When COVID hit and he was thrown out of work,
he bet his savings on a dream that changed the food scene.
When I dove into Islam, I realized I can't eat my favorite food anymore.
You mentioned that you went to Mexico. Why Mexico?
Yeah, I didn't want to disrespect the Mexican culture. I was amongst Latinos my whole life. There was so many beautiful things I learned from them, so many beautiful things I saw in Mexico that I didn't want to disrespect by making Mexican food.
What was it that really struck you about Islam that caught your heart, I guess?
When you explore Islam, there's an answer to every question. There's actual reason from the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I needed that logical stance. There's no question, there's no blurriness, there's no gray area. It's just black or white. That's the discipline and the respect that Islam and people who are Muslims get.
So to those who, have ideas, how do you build the discipline in order to take the leap and just do it,
The hardest part about opening a business is staying motivated in the plan. You got to make the plan, then the research behind it, and the discipline behind it to stay active on it. When you create this plan, take action. Make small goals and achieve them. One thing that made us super successful also is the amount of philanthropy we did. Like, we donated so much money everywhere. As I brought my food truck to the fires, I said, hey guys, we're gonna go feed the firemen. My staff loves me, by the way. 50% is going to the children of Gaza. But we were able to raise $10,000 for Palestine. When you eat at El Halal Amigos, till this day, you are contributing of some sort. You know how many no's I've gotten? A ton. I still get them. You can't let that defeat you. Just continue. Find another way. There's a solution to every problem. I am Hisham Abdelfattah. I am the owner and executive chef of El Halal Amigos, and now Willow Street Pizza, partner and chef with that concept that just happened about a year ago. The San Jose location, only the San Jose location is 100% halal, alhamdulillah, but that business has been going on for 30 years. So there's a big story on why I took that business, which I'm sure I'll talk about, but a little bit about my story. I just a regular guy. I grew up here in Santa Clara. I moved around a lot. Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, San Jose, East Side San Jose. I'm 38 years old. 20-something years ago, I was not the the greatest kid, so to speak. Moved around to different schools. Didn't really like school that much, but I got my first job though when I was 14 years old. That was in a kitchen at a taqueria on the east side, dishwasher prep. And I had no idea. I just kind of took the first job that came at me, and I super fell in love with restaurant business. Like, fell in love with it. Despite what was going on in my life and what I wanted to be like, gang affiliated or whatever. But I really love to work, and I love the way restaurants function, And from there, I ventured off and tried other jobs. People ask me why, how are you so good on social media and on TV? How do you talk so well? Well, my second job was a Fool the Guesser stand at Great America. And so I had to guess people's age, weight, and birth month on the microphone, like a show. And if I couldn't guess right, then you would get a prize. A lot of people got prizes. So no, I'm just playing. But it was more of the entertainment aspect of it. Right. And then I also was the voice of Great America for a while. I'd be like, welcome to Paramount's Great America. Like that guy, So I got that gig for a while. And then I just went right back to cooking. I was a line cook at 15, 16 at different places. Eventually, when I did finish high school, I tried to do like De Anza and Mission and all this other stuff. I really, really tried to do school. It just, sometimes it's just not for the person, and I just knew that, hey, I wasn't going to get a 4-year degree. It just wasn't going to happen. And I went to the Culinary Academy in San Francisco. Got my degree from there. Worked along the way during that time, and then from there, what happened? A lot of it was a blur. No, I'm just kidding. From there, I just jumped around a lot of kitchens. I was part of 8 restaurant concept openings in a management level. Some notable ones. The Counter Burger, I helped him open 2 or 3 locations on a chef level. I was a big part of Lazy Dog. I went down to LA, helped him open 2 or 3 concepts on a corporate level, chef level. I was part of their big training team. And then I worked some fine dining here and there in between. Lived in Mexico for about 2 months because I knew I really wanted to get into the Mexican cuisine, but I knew nothing. I didn't know nothing, but I didn't know enough about the culture and enough about the food and the story behind it. And so I decided to just pack my bags and move to Mexico for a couple months. And then moved around a lot there and worked a lot of different places, a lot of places where I worked for free, just wanting to learn. And that was a crazy time. That was fun. I can go on. My list. It's like I recollect all this stuff, and I just there's so many branches to things that I've done. So I'm trying to give you the highlighted version of it.
Yeah, for sure. No, sounds amazing. I mean, we're really glad to have you here and just learn from your story. Yeah. I think you mentioned that you went to Mexico. Why Mexico? Talk to us a little bit about your background and how that influenced you.
Well, that happened. See, I jumped around a lot, but that happened a little later in my late 20s, because during that time I kind of dove. Well, I'm half Filipino Palestinian. I just want to say that out loud because a lot of people try to guess what I am, and they're like, "What are you? Are you Mexican? Are you Arab? Are you It's never Filipino, but are you this? Are you that? Are you Pakistani?" Yeah. I am half. My mom's Filipino. My dad's Palestinian, and growing up in a split household like that, my dad is a Muslim, my mom is a Catholic, and I decided, after learning about both religions, at one point in my life, I was kind of unsure. I really took the submission to Islam, and I dove into it, and I learned so much about halal. Now, it's no secret that my favorite food is Mexican food, even though I'm Palestinian Filipino and I do enjoy both those cultures. I enjoy all cultures. Mexican food has always hit different with me. I've always loved it. So to answer your question, I when I dove into Islam, I realized I can't eat my favorite food anymore. Because I became totally only halal eating. Yeah, and then everywhere I went, it was just cheese quesadillas everywhere I went, and it sucked, and then so, although I could make it at home, it's not as fun when you go out to eat with people, and you're just like, yeah, I'll take the veggie plate, just give me the fajitas without the meat, And so I had this idea, and I want to make a halal Mexican restaurant. I didn't know what it was going to be, how it was going to come about, but that's where the inspiration of going to Mexico came from.
Oh, that's sick. So hold on. So you went to Mexico because you had the inspiration to start a halal Mexican food. So you went to Mexico to learn more about it. Mm-hmm. You learned, and then you came back and opened it?
I wish it was that simple, but there's a really deep story of how I opened my business and a lot of struggles that came about it. But so to speak, yeah, I didn't want to disrespect the Mexican culture. 100%. It's they're our sister country to America, right? They're so close to us. We're in California. They're amongst us everywhere. We're in California. I mean, this was Mexico at some point, and this is indigenous to Mexico. I want to show it its respect, its culture. I wanted to put it at the forefront of our culture and our people, our melting pot of the Bay Area, where us as Muslims, in the way I was feeling, I'm pretty sure there's Muslims out there, which I know because they come and eat at my restaurant and they tell me, this is my first time having Mexican food. What should I order? What do I do? Where am I? What world am I in? No, I'm just kidding. But but they need guidance, and I wanted to bridge something, you know, and growing up here in the Bay Area, moving around a lot, especially on the east side, San Jose, even in Sunnyvale, I was amongst Latinos my whole life. You know, my best friend is a Latino. My best friends growing up were Latinos. And there was so many beautiful things I learned from them, so many beautiful things I saw in Mexico that I didn't want to disrespect by making Mexican food. I just didn't want to be the typical Arab guy making something halal, you know, and like, all right, guys, let's make falafel tacos, you know, like, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Just that recipe off Google or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, you want authentic.
Yeah,
You
no,
want straight to
I
the
want
source.
super authentic.
That's
Everything
awesome.
should be done right.
Yeah.
It's amazing and really inspirational. So let's backtrack a bit and talk a bit about your childhood. I know you mentioned that you discovered Islam through looking through both religions. What was it that really struck you about Islam that caught your heart, I guess?
So many things struck, but I think the biggest thing was how much of it, when you explore Islam, there's an answer to every question. There really is, and it makes sense. I think from a logical point of view, for people who are trying to figure out their path to God, Islam always just made perfect sense to me. Any research I did personally for myself, there's reason. You know, there's actual reason from the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and brought by the messenger. You know, there's reason behind it. And I needed that. I needed that logical stance. There's no question. There's no blurriness. There's no gray area. It's just black or white. And that's the discipline and the respect that Islam and people who are Muslims get. Is that, you know, we don't twist things. There's no book there, book this, and it's one book, and it's the Word of God. You know, and I really respected that. And it made a lot of it just made sense. And there was things in the Quran that is unexplainable back when it was put together or written from Allah and through the messenger, that is still being discovered till this day. And there's things that were discovered late that we've discovered recently that was written so long ago. And it was just like, the evidence is there. It's right there, right in front of you. Yeah, so alhamdulillah, wow, it's great that it's like that.
SubhanAllah, yeah, that's a great thing to hear when you self-discover it yourself. Like you were fighting it between the Catholic, right, and Muslim household. Oh, yeah. So touching a little bit on that, you're also Filipino side and Palestinian. So how was the dynamic growing up?
Wow. I grew up an only child up until I was 18. My dad had remarried and had more children, but until then I was an only child. And so, you know, your parents, I love my parents. They're best friends till this day, even though they're not together. And they did a pretty good job letting me, you know, actually, I just want to say, up until I was 18, I feel like I was like in La La Land. I was really, really a rebellious child. You know, and so rebelled the cause, rebelled the system. You could probably sense it by all my videos on Instagram and all that. I just like have so much energy, I didn't know what to do with it, and I did not want to put it in school, which I do not recommend to anybody else. School is, if you're able to do school, do it. Because the restaurant industry is hard. But anyway, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I always felt it in my heart that I am a Muslim, you know. But my parents, they wanted to push religion on me, but they wanted to push many things on me, and I just was, like I said, I was a rebellious child. I just didn't want discipline, and I didn't want to be told what to do from such a young age, and I just rebelled like crazy up until my 20s, you know, and then something kind of snapped in me, you know, and I got my life in order, got myself together, and decided to become a Muslim after some extensive research, and it, you know, I want to say it wasn't that extensive. It was pretty easy for me to figure out that Islam was the right way, you know. So inshallah, the journey is that easy for everybody else.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to us a little bit about your journey. You know, you mentioned that you went to Dianza and I believe, where else do you say? Mission, right?
Oh, I went everywhere. I've really tried every community college around here. It's so funny because now I have like major accounts with all of them, and I cater all of them. I do like Mission, Dianza, Foothill, San Jose State. I do them all, you know, and I just, when I'm on those campuses, I'm like, wow, I really tried to do this. But what was your question?
Yeah, so I guess why was that not working for you, and why did you choose the Culinary Academy instead? What was it about that specifically that caught your attention?
And one thing, what did you try to major in?
I don't even know. I think, you know, I just really couldn't even get my GE. I don't know. I was just so up in the air. All I know is I had this really big passion for cooking. And I didn't realize that that was the route I really wanted to go in until I really, you know, my mom's an amazing woman. You know, she's a typical, if anyone's listening, Filipino that's like, you're going to become a nurse, you know? And I'm like, okay, Mom, I'll try. And then I just couldn't do it, you know? So I think that for me, there are different types of personalities, but I'm the type of personality that will do a really good job pursuing a passion, right? For me, what I do, I'm not doing what I do right now because of money. I'm not trying to get rich. That's the thing. I don't have that mindset. All I do is go in and really enjoy what I do every single day, even though there's so many facets and operational things that I got to do now, and I'm managing people, I'm managing a business. There's so many things. I didn't realize for somebody who has limited schooling, right, wasn't very good at it. My businesses are operating on an optimum level because the passion is there. So everyone's capable of doing anything, so long as the focus, the drive, the ambition, the you know, is all there, right? So it just happens naturally. Subhanallah, like I can't read a book right now. You know, I can't sit here, open a book, and read it. You know, and then I'll read like 3 pages and be like, "The hell did I just read? What was that?" My brain was just like everywhere. You know? Yeah. But when it comes to food and when it comes to restaurants and operations in restaurants and all that, it's like playing the piano for me. It just came naturally. It's crazy, you know. And anyone listening, I advise if they feel something like that in them, they should really pursue it, because your life will feel fulfilled, and money is not fulfillment.
And what do you think is the best way to actually pursue that? Like, let's say someone, for example, has a passion. Obviously you had it for cooking. Let's say someone has it for something random, like I don't know, painting or something like that. Well, like, we can dream all we want in our heads and like think about, like we can close our eyes and be like, I'm gonna be a painting there, this, doing all this. What's the actual real step to get started? Like
to make a career out of it, maybe?
Yeah,
is that
sure.
what you're asking? Like,
or to even like just pursue it as like a real thing.
Passion.
Yeah, like take a passion and turn it into something that's valuable for you, and career, you can monetize it.
You know, there's everybody. I believe that everyone has some sort of artistry inside of them. Everybody, you know, you guys, it's this podcast. You're doing hopefully what you love to do, and you're not doing this as a job. This is something that you love to do. This is a passion where we're sitting right now, right? For example, a painter. You know, if a painter wants to paint all day, but then how do I pay the rent? You know, maybe there's something within painting that they can do that doesn't involve painting a house where you're just going up and down in strokes. But maybe there's some kind of graphic design or some kind of outdoor graffiti artistry you can do. Because there's a lot of walls that need art, right? There's a lot of restaurants that need it. There's a lot of businesses that love it, you know. And if you really have this true talent, then and you have the passion for that talent, even if you don't have the talent. Let's just say, I think outside of singing, it's kind of, I think you can learn how to do things, right? Of course, like natural talent it helps a lot, but when you like cooking, I feel like anyone can become a cook. People call me chef, and every time I get called chef, I cringe a little bit. You know what I mean? Because the reason for that is because there's so much behind the word chef, that history behind on what a chef level, it's the doctrine of cooking, right? And what people ask me, what is your definition of a chef? And I tell them, honestly, to be a chef, to really be a chef, for me to want to call you a chef, I need to feel your passion in cooking and food and culture, and because food is the outlet to all cultures, right? We can cook any culture anytime we want, and understand why. There's reasons behind with food. So I'm really going off on tangents here.
No, this is perfect.
What was the question?
I think the question, I mean, you pretty much answered it in a way. Like, how'd you turn what's the first step you take for your passion to actually like?
There's not really a step you can take. It's more so you just take the steps and you do what you want to do, but beyond it. I mean, if it is come to the point where you have to make money because you can't just like be painting on a canvas every day and not getting anything from it, then if people seem to love your art, again I'm using the painter reference, then there's ways you can sell your art. There's ways that several restaurants I worked at, they had their paintings on the walls with prices on it. There's things that you can do like that. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Right on. I really like that. So I think one theme we have in all our guests, they say this a lot. It's like taking the step, taking the initiative, because you
That
can
leap
say
of faith.
exactly. So a lot of people say they want to do something, but they never take the initiative. So in your case, for example, you wanted to open this restaurant, you took the initiative, you moved to Mexico, learned everything, and then came back, and with a process you opened it, obviously. So to those who have ideas, how do you build the discipline in order to take the leap and just do it?
Yeah. The hardest part about opening a business is staying motivated in the plan. You gotta make the plan. You gotta make a decision in your head. This is what I'm gonna do. I want to do it. Then the research behind it and the discipline behind it to stay active on it. People get caught up in life. They have to go to work, or there's functions, there's vacations, there's things, there's life, and you have to stay motivated. You have to stay into it. That I feel that's the hardest step. And then when you create this plan, take action. Make small goals and achieve them. With El Halal Amigos, my wife, but at the time was just my fiance girlfriend, was going to Foothill College, and she didn't have a license. So I was taking her to school, and she was just starting off in school. She started late, and I would take her, drop her off. This was back in like 2017, I want to say. And I'd go sit in the library, and I just honestly open my laptop and sometimes just stare at the screen. I knew I wanted to do halal Mexican food. I just didn't know what to do or how to start. So I started with the simple things, like what would be the name? How do I envision it? You got to have the vision, and then you just kind of build behind it. Then we live in a technology world. There's Google. How are other people doing it, right? I literally hit up other restaurants. I would go and I would talk to the owners, take a lot of notes, watch what they did, come back to the drawing board, back in the Foothill Library, and write and organize all my notes and create a business plan. Right. Then I got in touch with really like close people. I knew wanted to be halal. I got in touch with somebody like Irfan from Halal Fest, let's say, and I spoke to him. Teach me more about halal. I wanted to know more about it, even though I thought I knew everything. I didn't, and just business plan, right, and research, and then taking action. And I was not ready in 2020. To open El Halal Amigos, even though we opened in 2020. I had my business plan 80% done. Took me 3 years. But when we bunkered down, at the time I was working at Tacolicious. I got a job in Tacolicious, by the way, which was at the time in Santana Row. I was the exec chef there. I took that job on purpose so that I can learn more about the Mexican food culture, and I loved their vibe. Like, they just had a really nice vibe at Tacolicious, loud music and fun and vibrant, and I just wanted to immerse myself more into the Mexican culture because I knew this is what I was going to do. When 2020 hit, COVID, and we all had to bunker down, we all lost our jobs, and a lot of people worked for me. follows me around where I go because I'm a good boss. So, but I really cared about these people, like my family, and when restaurants were shutting down, everyone was losing their jobs. These people who work for me, predominantly Latino, couldn't get financial assistance from the government, like the EDD money or those little purple cards they would give us and just refill it every 3 weeks. I don't know if you remember that time, but I'm sure there's listeners here that can relate. During that time, the government was just giving away money, and they couldn't get any. And so, how are they going to eat? How are they going to move on? So I said, you know what, guys, we're going to start a business. It's going to be El Halal Amigos. I knew the name at that time, and I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm going to fast forward, I'm not ready. So the owner of Willow Street Pizza, where I became partner, dear friend of mine, was the only one I met with. I made a quick pitch deck. I made a quick business plan. Like while we were bunkered down in like April, we were just while we were chasing toilet paper, I was working on this, and I was just kind of just like a mad scientist in the room, and I started trying to call everybody. Everyone was giving me no's. They were like, "Are you crazy? Why are you trying to open a business? Like we're dying out here. Like what's going on?" I'm like, "Well, we got to still live." And I knew there was a food truck out there I really wanted to get. The one person that gave me a yes was, besides my father heavily helping me, Irfan from Halal Fest helping me out, was the guy, the owner of Willow Street. He believed in me. He believed in the dream. I've got this food truck out in Utah. And I advise anyone starting a food truck business, never buy a food truck outside of California. And if you want to know why, Google why, because it is hell. I went through hell to get it in here, and then to get it permitted and all those things. Oh my God, it was rough. And then COVID, nobody wanted to see me. Everything was virtual. And I'm like, you can't be virtual and check my truck. Like, and then the appointments and there was like 2 people in the office when there used to be like 30, you know what I mean? DMV was the biggest hassle. I could not take no for an answer. I think I got the food truck delivered late May or June, and then I was taking it like from DMV to DMV, and they were like, "No, you got to come back in 3 months." I'm like, "Dude, I got to open my business. Like, I have to pay for this food truck, and I have people waiting for me to start this thing, and I was just not taking no for an answer." And you kind of have to go with that mindset when you start a business. Don't take no for an answer. I must have talked to like 20 supervisors, and I wasn't mean about it, but I was aggressive. So the East Bay was the first place that would give me my health permit. Newark, next to Fremont, the city Newark was the only one that would give me a business permit, and that's where I opened, in Newark, California. Because people ask me, "Why'd you open in Newark, California?" That's so random, Well, they're the only ones that would talk to me, So that's where I went.
And what month was that?
That was August 13th, 2020. Right in front of Chandni and Mehran. Yeah, so I went inside and I tried to park in front of Food Max right there in that shopping center, and I lasted 1 day because all the businesses around were like, "Get the hell out of here! You're taking everybody." And I was like, "All right." So I went on to the street. And I went in front of Mehran. I talked to them. They were really nice. Talked to Chani. I couldn't get a hold of him. But everyone was shut down, right? They couldn't have parties and engagements. We all been to Chani and Mehran once in our life. You guys know where I'm talking about. So I was right in front there on the street. And people were trying to shut me down, even though I was on the street. Yeah. I just really made good friends with the city and with the PD. And they didn't really bother me. So
that's fire.
It just worked out.
And so how was business like in the first few months? Especially, obviously this is a peak of COVID.
Crazy. Because as active as you see me on social media, I was so not the social media guy. I will say this out loud. I do not like doing these videos like on a personal like vanity level. Like I'm not a vain person, like I pride myself in trying to stay humble and within my own means and my sister was like, "You got to go on TikTok." And I'm like, you're crazy. First I was like, what the hell is TikTok? And then I was like, no, now you're crazy when I looked at it. And she's like, no, trust me, go on TikTok. So I think if you scroll on El Halal Amigos all the way down, there's a video there, like the first 2 videos, where one got like 1 million views because all I did was step out. I was like, okay, what do I do for a video? What do I do? And they were like, why don't you speak Spanish? Because you look Arab. And I was like, okay, like I kind of know Spanish, but like, so I like wrote down my entire script in Spanish and I put it behind the phone. And I was like looking at the script, but it looked like I was looking at the phone. And then I was like, hola, right in front of my food truck, like right up front of Newark. I was like, soy Hisham, yo está en el Newark, and blah, 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 like saying stuff like that. Like, and it went crazy because they were like, who the hell is this halal Arab guy speaking Spanish? What is going on? This is a total mind mess up. Bender. Yeah, mind bender, right? So I think the very next day we had a line like wrapped around the corner. And we sold out like in an hour. And then like I was like, yeah, and we were not ready for that type of like wave, right, of people. And then the lines just continued for like weeks. At one point we were selling out before we opened. Yeah, and then I was able to, eventually I had to get out of that spot, and then I moved into another place off Thornton in front of Fremont Flowers and American High School in Fremont. And we were really busy. A year later, subhanAllah, alhamdulillah, we opened a brick and mortar. Yeah.
Oh, 1 year later.
1 year. Yeah, we saved everything, and we went all in on this location in Willow Glen because the opportunity arose.
That's fire. That is so sick, dude. I mean, wow. So you went from a food truck to a brick and mortar in 1 year.
About a year and 3 or 4 months.
A year and 3 months. You know, most food trucks. Some food trucks don't even last as a food truck. So for you,
it took. You know what? It was really hard, man. I mean, to get to that next level was really hard in the sense of it. I had to keep my costs down, but I had to keep the quality up, which had me personally super involved. That summer that we opened in 2020 was probably the hottest summer of my life because, no, seriously, it was weirdly hot, and every day it was like 95, like how it feels today, just in the hundreds, right? And we at that time weren't as sound and smart as we are now as a company, but we were chopping meat with a machete, like dripping sweat, and the sky was red because there was fires everywhere. Oh, yeah. Remember that? And we couldn't breathe, and it was just me and my partner, and we were just like,
oh, and the mask too.
Yeah, the mask, and it was like the worst. But me and him, we look at each other now, we laugh about it because it's like, God, do you remember that? Nothing was harder than that. And then I remember when those fires were happening, one thing that made us super successful also is the amount of philanthropy we did. Like we donated so much money everywhere because I thought to myself, because the week we opened, I forgot to mention this, I had $100 to my name. That was it. I literally looked at my crew before we opened the windows of the food truck, and I said, guys, whatever we make is going for you because I have no idea how I'm going to pay you. So inshallah, we're busy, you know? And then that's why I jumped in front of the TikTok. I did it out of desperation, you know? I wanted people to know. And then they were like, I think 3 weeks later, I started giving money to Islamic Relief USA for Palestine. And then at the time, there was a big explosion, and I believe it was in Lebanon. And we were very involved with giving back on that, and other countries too. There was a big flood in the Philippines, and then there was the fires. I brought my food truck to the fires. You know, I said, hey guys, we're gonna go feed the firemen. My staff loves me, by the way. They were like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're going to bring the food truck all the way up the mountain, and we're going to feed the firefighters for free. And I did this. Of course, everything we do, I like to put it out on social media, not from a vanity standpoint, but more so to show the people, hey, look, when you eat at El Halal Amigos, till this day, you are contributing of some sort, some way you are contributing. Till this day, we're donating right now heavily to Palestine, you know, to Gaza, to the victims. But that philanthropy work has never ended. Our business started on that. So 3 weeks in, I'm like, we're going to give all this money away. And they're like, what the hell? Are you going to give all this money away? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, trust me. You give, you receive. We're a halal business. I'm a Muslim. But more than that, I want the people to know and to feel that when they're eating here, when every taco they buy, it's going to go somewhere. It's not just to fill their bellies, but to fill others.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the crew really loved that, and the people really loved that, and that made us more popular. So I tell everyone who might be in need of a boost in business, do a little philanthropy work. Just call any. I cold called Islamic Relief. I got in touch with a really beautiful woman who Haneen, who is the West Coast manager or something in that, and we've been friends ever since. And then also PCRF, Palestinian Children Relief Fund, UNRWA. I'm blanking, but there's so many that we donated to. Yeah. Oh, we gave away tacos too to all of the nurses at the Kaiser. So we showed up and gave them like 100 tacos. A couple times.
That's beautiful.
So
it's really nice to hear that story.
It's wonderful, and
also feels good for you.
It does feel good. I mean, that's the most fun that I believe that we do, that I have when I'm able to give back. And have enough to give back. When everyone else is taken care of and we have enough money, let's give some to the community because they're the ones supporting you. And during these troubling times, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really great to hear and really inspirational. And I mean, we've had like other people on the podcast talk about the importance of philanthropy. It's just something that like intrinsically, like we all it is like we might not originally feel like giving away money. Obviously, like if someone tells us we have to give away a portion of our money, we're like, whoa, like I want to keep that for myself. But once we actually do it, it does feel good. It does feel good to even if we spend time volunteering.
Yeah, and I tell everybody don't be afraid to broadcast it because, yes, if your niyyah and your deen is true and sound, that you genuinely want to help people. Don't be afraid to market it either, to let people know that, hey, when you come and eat here or when you come buy this is going there. And people like to know those things. And it's really hard these days to get information out, because there's so much going out all the time. It is a good marketing tool as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. And so I guess talk to us a little bit about the challenges you face, not with starting the restaurant. Obviously, TikTok really helped with that, but the challenges of the halal aspect of it specifically, and like creating something that's like, obviously Muslims have a lot of expectations for when you name something halal. So
halal. Is it halal? Is it machine slaughtered? Is it hand slaughtered? Is it who's slaughtering the chicken? Like, that question. The way the Quran is told for us to be zabiyah halal is by hand. Yes. The one question I hate so much is when I say we are zabiyah halal, and they're like, is it hand slaughtered? And I'm like, this is zabiyah halal. There's only one way to do zabiyah halal. Of course, I don't give that much attitude, but I see that question come out so much, right? And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we live in a time where there's so much consumption that they bend rules and be in a gray area, and there is machine slaughtered meat. And I can only imagine what it's like in a machine house where the Quran is playing in a speaker and they're pushing cows through the belt. Like, I kind of imagine that's what it's like. Really, kudos to the ingenuity, but like that. But honestly, like, I'm not gonna buy from you, because that is not why I submitted to become a halal chef and serve people who trust in me and trust in us to give them halal food. The purpose of halal is to be more sustainable and clean, and it's not because. And blessed and to be to put what we're ensuring into our body to be the cleanest product, right? And to be blessed by God because you are taking the life of an animal and you're consuming it. So if it's not done the way it's told us, then then simply it's not halal. Definitely. So I mean, for anyone listening who has a halal business, hopefully that you live by that, and hopefully the people that go out to eat judge those that they do feel that way and they are buying like that. So to find Zabiha halal meat, what in the beginning, because I feel like even then it wasn't that hard, but like it was hard in a sense of trying to rummage through the what was, I had to call these facilities and make sure, hey, how are you slaughtering your meat, and how are you taking care of it? How, are you doing it this way, that way? And then getting the right certifications, because there are great foundations out there that make sure that things are Zabiha halal. And then I came across Harris Ranch, and that was that is a great one. At the time, it was Tahir chicken. That was really good. I was using Tahir in the beginning, and then now I'm using Crescent, which is good. And they've figured out and mastered, all of these meat companies I've mentioned have figured out a method of keeping it Zabiha in the right way and putting the trust, right? So, it's hard and it's expensive. It's expensive because it's labor intensive. I get it. So when people come to eat at my restaurant, if my food was cheap, you should be a little afraid. Yeah. There's a reason why my food is expensive. Outside of the fact that I do everything authentically from scratch, I try to put the best product forward. It is just the integrity of me being a professional cook. I want to make sure that I'm serving you the best quality and the best quality halal, right? So you get what you pay for. Yeah, definitely. And yeah.
Right on. That's sick. So with on the halal side of things, obviously there's some obvious benefits to having a halal business, attracting more Muslim, whole new market for you. Right. But what are some more benefits that you realized by incorporating the halal part into your business?
Aside from incorporating halal, when we started this business, I knew I didn't want to disrespect the Mexican culture, the food, the look, all of it. We are a Mexican restaurant. Oh, by the way, we're halal. That's how I wanted to be perceived. I wanted the respect of all, including Muslims, right? So something for everyone, right? We had a menu design and everything set up for anyone can come and eat here, right? Yep. Yes, if we were going to call ourselves, we're El Halal Amigos, but we are a Mexican halal restaurant, right? Mexican first, So when I see Latinos come and eat and enjoy our food, it is the highest compliment to me and the crew, but it's no different from when anyone else comes to eat. I mean, and they love the food. I don't eat, but I mean, it's like, let's reverse it. Let's say a Mexican guy goes and opens a Pakistani food restaurant, and he becomes incredibly successful with his culture and his people because maybe Mexicans don't know Pakistani food, and he's bridging a gap. But then let's say the Pakistani people come to his restaurant and say, "This is amazing! Wow, you're better than, I don't know, Pakwan." Yeah. And they're like, that's the ultimate compliment. You see what I mean? So yes, there is a big benefit to be halal because a halal Mexican, because at the time there wasn't very many, or if any. Yeah, so that really helped us get started. It did help that we opened in Newark and Fremont, right? Yeah. Not trying to like stereotype, but there's a lot of Muslims there, and so that really helped a lot. So subhanAllah, Allah guided us to Newark and it guided us into Fremont, and we got popular enough to be able to move back to where I'm originally from, San Jose, and still get a decent amount of Muslims coming to eat and support. So yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, no, I mean it's crazy when you're looking back and you're connecting the dots to see how Allah's always helped along the way. So obviously, the story of Halal Amigos is really wonderful. It's inspiring. Talk to us a little bit about the story of your latest venture, which is the Willow Street Pizza, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Willow Street Pizza.
Yeah. So how did that happen?
So my partner, who is on the later stages of his career, needs someone to come and take the Iron Throne, take lead, take over, right? And he saw all the success that we've had as El Halal Amigos, and he sees me as like a son, and I see him like a mentor, and he really trusts me and with his legacy of Willow Street Pizza, right? Been around for 30 years. We just celebrated our 30-year anniversary. My deal with that, though, it was very, very casual. He's like, hey, can you come and just take over operations, be the exec chef, and become partner, just like that, And I said, oh my God, I'm scared. Yeah, sure. Let me see. Let me just think of ways to complicate my life further. No, but alhamdulillah, like after much deliberation and thought, I actually went to Italy. Because it is an Italian-influenced restaurant, even though it's more of a worldly menu, more of an Americanized menu, but it has an Italian influence to it, very chef-driven menu. I decided to go to Italy and go for a month. And like very similar to Mexico, because I wanted to learn more about the cuisine. I was making tortillas. Now I got to make pizza dough. Like I got to go figure this out, And I did some cooking classes out there. Met with some really cool chefs. Traveled all over. Learned the culture. Ate what I could. Looked around and really learned that culture is gorgeous and beautiful. And wow, this is great. Italian food for Muslims more. That was the dream, right? My dream is to have every single concept for us halal eaters. I'm Filipino Palestinian, and I have an array of background. I would love to do a Filipino halal business one day. I found myself immersed into an Italian influenced restaurant, and right now Muslims are coming in to eat, and they're so excited about it. Yeah. And the food is phenomenal. It's a scratch kitchen too. I think when the deal struck a year ago, I told him, listen, I'm a halal chef. At least one of your locations has to be 100% halal menu in order for me to accept this deal. And so he agreed, and we chose San Jose, closer to I think it's more of a melting pot location, and it's right next to El Halal Amigos. Although I do operate and help manage and I am the exec chef of the Los Gatos location. I was able to successfully make the San Jose location, not the Los Gatos location, the San Jose location only, Zabia Halal. And that took me 5 months because I had to deal with things like pepperoni and sausage and bacon and salami. And so I was getting all kinds of samples from everywhere. And 80% of it I didn't like. So like the sausage I have to make in-house because I tasted everything that I didn't like. The meatballs we make in-house, I tasted a lot of things I didn't like. But yeah, I finally found everything that I wanted. Then you have to set it up with your vendors. The vendors have to, stock their place. Then you have to start the ordering. Then you have to train everybody because all the staff is like, wait, what are we? Kosher? I'm like, no, we're halal, What are we, What religion is that? What's going on in here, and then you have to kind of get them motivated. And I literally took time to make a fact sheet for my staff. And I'm like, this is a cheat sheet. If a Muslim comes in and says, and asks you any of these questions, here are some answers for you, So, because they will ask questions, and this is, again, bridging a gap. This is new for us. It's not every day we get to go into a halal Olive Garden. I can't believe I referenced that. Oh my God. Please don't go to a non-halal Olive Garden. Gross. I think I made that mistake once, and the breadsticks suck. I'm sorry. Don't go to an Olive Garden. I'm sorry. Oh God, I just offended at least 10% of the listeners. So the bread actually at Red Lobster is way better. Really? Yeah, I just go there for bread, honestly. I will not eat anything at Red Lobster. God, I sound really like snooty. I don't eat anything at Red Lobster. So anyway, sorry, I'm a jokester. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, halal, Willow Street, staff, Italian. Bridging a gap, right? We have to bridge that gap, and they're gonna come in. They're gonna ask a million questions. You got to be ready for it.
Yeah, and no, I like I've had experience in the past too, where it's like a fully. I mean, it's something like with the name like falafel in it, and like everywhere halal signs, and you walk in and you like someone's like asking them to confirm, is this halal? And it's like, what's halal? So like, it's really. I'm glad you did that. Fact
Where
sheet.
am I?
Yeah.
What? Oh, is that what that means? Those little squiggly lines, like
that
I was
little
wondering
colorful
what that
sign
was.
that turns on and off. Like, what?
I know. I was wondering what that was.
No, it's
I thought it was just said Allah. I don't know. Yeah. That sucks. Educating your staff. I mean, if you're going to be a halal business, yeah. I mean, part of the orientation, 100%, and is they're the sellers. They have to know what your business is. You know, I personally love to handpick our staff because I'd like to look for people who have the natural want of wanting to just be there and just try. They are the face of, if I can clone myself 20 times, I'd have the most successful business in the world. God, cocky. That was so cocky. You know what I mean? Like, but because I'm the owner, you know, like, but you gotta give a sense of, first you gotta hire based off attitude. Forget the resume. If you are a restaurant owner, do not look at their history. You know, who cares? Literally just have a conversation with them in the interview. You'll know. This is the person that's going to be conversating with your customers. This is the person who is genuinely going to care for your business. I literally tell them, hey guys, you are little owners. This is your restaurant. This is your home. This is your culture. I want you to love to be here. If you're not having fun at work, you're not working. That is a rule. Like, I want everybody to be having fun to an extent, right? And with guidelines, you know, and when people come in, I want your natural smile to come out, not a forced smile. If you want a forced smile, go to Chipotle. If you want a natural smile, come to El Halal Amigos. You know, I don't want you to be like, oh, welcome to Chipotle. You want brown rice or white rice? Is this taco or burrito? You know, like steak, chicken, and they're just going down the line. Like, you know, it really does. It's a really, really crappy culture, and I'll say that on the podcast. I will never go to Chipotle. Never. But
or it's like those boba stores where, like, just the other day I went to this boba store and this employee, and we asked him about this one drink that's on the menu. He's like, it's like powder mixed with water. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, I'll take that.
Yeah, it sounds so tasty.
Oh man, I'll take the nutrients.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Powder mixed with water.
Yeah.
And that should be on the description.
Exactly. And like he didn't even know what it, like, we mentioned the menu item. He's like, what's that? And we point to the menu. He's like, oh, it's powder mixed with water. I'm like, okay, thank you. I think I'm chilling.
That's actually how we make our chicken. It's chicken mixed with powder.
Yeah. So
I'm kidding. Yeah, terrible. So exactly, it's all about attitude. You know, you have to hire people who want to love your story, who want to be a part of it. I really, you know what I tell them? Like when I first hire them, like, sit right here and watch all my TikToks. Really see it from the beginning. Watch like 5 from the beginning. I really want you to see how we started and how we progressed to here. So you know and feel passion and pride. I tell them, you're part of our journey. You are part of this. Yeah. You know, we're still growing. We're expanding. We're trying to open in Fremont now, a store. You could be a big part of that. I need your help. I literally tell them, I need you, you know, and whatever I can do to help you to feel comfortable and in your own skin and want to talk to customers and Muslims and everybody. I want whatever I can do to empower that, I will help you with. You know, so there's a big thing at El Halal in Willow Street about what halal is and why. And there's actually non-halal eaters that work for us. I mean, majority of them are not Muslim and or non-halal eating, and they literally tell me, this is really cool. This is beautiful, and that is the reaction that I really, because it is beautiful and it is cool. Yeah. Speaking of cool. That's another thing. When I started El Halal Amigos, how many times, I'm 38, so my dad used to take me to halal restaurants when I was little, and then it was the most boring place I've ever been in my life. You know, it's usually you walk in, and I'm not putting anywhere down that's like this. And if you're like this, I'm really sorry. But you walk in, the ammo or the uncle is behind the counter. There's Quran playing on the speaker.
Dim lighting.
Yeah, and dim lighting. You can smell the bathroom from the counter, or in the Clorox on the floor. You don't even know what restaurant, and because all of that combating senses, it's hot, and it's just this rundown place, and they're just like, hi, yeah, I'll have the shawarma plate.
Yeah, the energy is not there.
I wanted to make halal cool because it can be. It will open the minds of everybody else to want to know what that is. And you don't know. People come into El Halal Amigos and they're like, they're just walking because people drive by halal signs and they see halal, and that's the expectation and the vision that I just gave you. Yeah. But when they walk into my restaurant, they're like, what is going on? Yeah. Like, wait, where am I? There's loud Mexican music playing, like banda and like a cumbia, and there's, everyone's having a good time and they're happy. It says Orale Habibi on the shirt, I just wanted it. I want to grasp that attention so that way there's further exploration. Because that's what we need as a society, as Muslims. We need people to want to better understand us, but we got to give them the energy to want to do that. We look. I'll say this as a society, as Muslims, we are intimidating. Yeah. We are very intimidating, And to somebody from the naked eye, we're a beautiful people. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Once you talk to us, intimidation gone. Inshallah, 80% of us are nice, and we're accepting to any conversation. Mm-hmm. Especially in our own mosques, we're so inviting to everybody. Mm-hmm. But from the outside, who's going to feel the energy to want to come into?
And the media doesn't help with that at all.
No. Oh no. The media has always been against our narrative. They've always, because who runs the media? And I can go off on a tangent about that. So exactly. So you make halal fun and inviting, and that's the reason why I chose El Halal Amigos. One of the reasons. I was sitting on my couch and I was like, what should we name our business? And me and my dad were like going back and forth. Should we just call it Halal Mexico? I'm like, no, that's not good. And one of the stories that I fell in love with was the halal guys. And they started as a cart and they opened everywhere, right? And I loved learning about their story because they came from nothing and now they're this huge thing. I don't know if they're still big, but I know they went all over the world, right? And my dad was like, why don't we just call it the halal guys in Spanish? Oh. And I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, Los Halal Amigos. And I was like, ugh, I hate the word los. Everything is los. Los this, los that, los. I was like, let's call it El Halal Amigos. And he was like, oh, that's not correct. I'm like, I know. But sometimes it not being right will make people think further. And I was like, why not? And then also, I wanted everyone to know that El Halal Amigos is not a correct way to say El Halal Amigos because it's plural. It's Los Halal Amigos. But I chose El Halal Amigos because I see my team as one. We are El Halal Amigos. We're a group of people as one individual. And I have said this a couple of times already because you don't understand the messages I got in the beginning of flooding. Like, it's not right. That is not how you say El Halal Amigo. It is Los Halal Amigo. The police of Spanish just came out, and none of them were Mexican. They were just they were actually all Muslim. This is not correct. And
you take one Spanish class in high school.
Wow, I'm getting more crap about this than I am about halal. I'm winning.
That's hilarious.
I'll say this out loud. El Halal Amigos. It's because we're one. We work as one. We're a big team. We work as one. So anyway, yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, before I forget this, I was gonna ask you. I think I saw it somewhere. Maybe it might have been on your Instagram. But you were on a cooking show, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I got the opportunity to be on several cooking shows, and. I mean, a lot of things happened unraveled after we opened our restaurant storefront and doing all the philanthropy work. I was Silicon Valley's 40 under 40 winner, and then I had the opportunity to be on Guy's Grocery Games, which Guy Fieri. we are working on a couple shows later on next year. Hopefully I can get on them and we can release them. And Battle of the Decades on Food Network, which is a brand new show that started last year. I was on season 1, and I got to the semifinal on that one. But I said yes to the shows because I really wanted to put the fact that, you know, a Palestinian, Filipino American can be on the shows, but it was a chance to put my business that we fought so hard for out there. Like, again, we started on TikTok speaking Spanish in front of a food truck. And then now we're on these cooking shows. I just really wanted to help my business continue. I've been on the news probably, you know, opening pizzas and doing cooking stuff. I've been already 3 times on ABC7, 4 times on Cron 4, Channel 2. I was on like at least twice. I was on this past Super Bowl. I was on Cron making pizza right before the Super Bowl started. You know, so that was cool, you know, and alhamdulillah to all of it. You know, all I'm trying to do is be the qudwa, or the and that's Arabic for the influence for others. You know, in April 2020, I was just sitting on my couch, man, with an idea, no money, in an apartment. I was just nobody, man, you know. But I had the dream for 3 years, and you have to take that step. Just do it. Even before I had the food truck, I started my Instagram, El Halal Amigos, and not TikTok, just Instagram, and I literally just started making videos and like, hey guys, the food truck is coming soon, inshallah. But here, I didn't even know what I was saying. Like, what's up, my halal peeps? We're live here and blah, blah, blah. Like, I was just making up stuff, you know? Somehow the halal peeps came out, you know? And then, and yeah, man. And then, you know, you really have to believe in yourself and have faith in God and just, you know, the whole law of attraction thing too. Like, you put out into the universe what you really want, in a realistic dream, let's say, you know, something that could be achievable, and you just keep going. Don't give up. Don't take no. You know how many no's I've gotten? A ton. I still get them, you know? So it's been kind of turning into more yeses recently, but there were people out there that I really thought wouldn't say no to me, that have literally told me in my face, no. And you can't let that defeat you. Just continue. Find another way. There's a solution to every problem. Right?
Yeah. That's fire. There's a solution to every problem. Yeah, a lot of people give up early when they start getting no's and they don't keep pushing forward. I really admire that in you. That's really good.
Yeah, man. You have to resilience, fortitude, passion, all of those things, ambition. You got to keep going. And you know, it's time as us as Muslims to come together and help each other, especially in the food business. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really beautiful. And like all those points you mentioned, there's so many lessons that we can learn from those. But one thing I'm kind of like, I like to learn your story is like what really pushed you to put your face out there and like associate your face with the business and create this whole online persona? Because there's not many restaurants that when you think about them, you immediately think about the owner and you like think about that, like that vibe that the restaurant gives you. What was it that really convinced you to do that?
The week we opened, remember I had no money. Yeah. I was feeling that desperation. I kind of just didn't let go of that. That I still to this day feel that feeling, you know, that healthy paranoia, right? When you understand the word struggle, then you have more of a fight, right? You have more of you kind of almost have to create. There's a lot of people that have the advantage of having parents who help them or having the blessings of help around them. But the one thing that lacks when you have that advantage is understanding struggle, right? And I believe that ambition and fight and want and passion can come from a healthy place like struggle. So the people out there that feel like they kind of are missing something like in their life and they don't know what to pursue, or maybe they do know what to pursue and they don't know how to get there, but they're so used to being spoon-fed, right? You got to create that fight, that fire, because I tell you, all to the youth, it is nothing in this life is given to you. Nothing. And if it is, you are not going to appreciate it, you know, the way you should if you started from nothing, you know. I'm happy for the no's. I'm glad people told me no because it just fueled me, you know. I went out there, in my head, I was just like, okay, fine, you know, like I'm going to do this. And I didn't do it with hate. I wasn't mad at them. I have empathy for and I have empathy for people who just didn't want to take that risk. I understand that the restaurant business is risky, extremely, right? And I can go off on a tangent to why it is. But everybody listening right now, get out there and fight. Don't give up. Pursue your passion. Have a plan. Take small steps, small goals. Don't give, because it's not going to be handed to you. This life is hard. It is hard. We are in the worst inflated market I've ever seen in my career, right? Which makes it very hard for me to operate my business. I'm sure you guys been to my restaurant. I'm sure you've seen it's busy. I'm barely getting by right now. That's how bad this market is right now. It's that bad, right? So what were we talking about?
Oh man,
It's beautiful. No, I mean, there's so many deep points there, and it ties back into, yet you're still struggling, but yet at the same time, philanthropy is so important that you're still donating to Palestine. You're still supporting all these causes, and you're still, every single day, the food is putting a smile on people's faces because they're seeing all this philanthropy work that's being done. Yeah, the social. Oh yeah, I remember your question now. Jumping on social media was kind of I don't enjoy it, like, in a sense of being like for vanity. So like I'd be walking in Valley Fair right now and they're like, "You're the halal guy," like every other store, and I'm like, I guess, like, what does that even mean? Like, okay, like I'm not slaughtering them, but all right, always everywhere I go, you're the halal guy, you're the halal man, the king of halal, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so, but I subhanallah, it's crazy. Like when I was in 7th grade all the way till 17, I used to love performing on stage, and I would join every talent show. Nobody knows this, and I'm about to tell everyone. Nobody knows this, but I used to really want to be like Michael Jackson and like Usher. Like those guys were like I was just like out there like hitting moves and all that, singing, and I could actually sing. I'm half Filipino. That's what we do. We do karaoke's. But I think I can sing, or I just really bothered a lot of people. But that I really wanted to be a singer. Like that was my thing, a performer, and that's why I chose a job at Great America like that. And that's why I enjoyed restaurants, because people pay you to give them an experience. It's like I call restaurants mini Disneylands. Like you go and you're literally paying people to give you an experience, right? That's what it is, and that's what I tell waiters and servers and cooks. And listen, they don't give a damn about how you feel. You are on stage. They are paying you for this, So if you don't have the right attitude and mindset here right now, it's going to be horrible for them, right? Okay, so performing, right? Talent shows. I was just doing them all, and I just stopped. I let go of that dream because I think I went to American Idol when I was 19. And it was the year after Kelly Clarkson, which was year 1. It was year 2, and it was in San Francisco. They were doing the tryouts there. And I got all the way, if you remember, to Paula, Simon, and Randy. I didn't make the TV cut, but I made it to them because there was thousands of people they put in the San Francisco Giant Stadium. And the first round was they line you up like a group of 10, and they're like, sing, stop, sing, stop, sing, stop. And I actually got through that round. And then got to Paula, Simon, and Randy, and I'm like, God, did I sound good, or are they just gonna make fun of me on TV? Like, was I good or bad? I don't get it, because they would let through all the bad people too, because they wanted to make entertainment. And I got to there, and I said, you know what, Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala,
I am going to take this as a sign. If I don't make it past this, I'm going to give up on this and I'm going to pursue cooking, you know? And Paula, Simon, and Randy, I sang in front of them. I met them. They were nice. And they just said I had a voice like everybody else's and that it wasn't meant to be, you know? And I went to culinary school. Pretty funny story, right? I do not like saying this story because I don't want anybody to be like, "Hey, sing," you know. Yeah. And then so now the stage presence on social media, it just comes naturally because I got past that nervousness, you know, performing in front of hundreds of people in high school. Dude, back in my high school, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 38. There was no cell phones, right? So if you wanted to be cool at my school, you literally had to sing and dance right there. Like there was no phone, no editing. We couldn't fix it. There was no auto-tune.
Exactly.
Like it was like, ready, go. Oh, shit. Okay. You know what I mean? Like that. You literally had to battle right there, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you were either cool and had talent or you weren't, you know? So I just got fearless after that, you know? You just build stamina. It's like becoming a good fighter. The more you fight, the better you get at it. Yeah.
Wow, dude. American Idol.
Yeah, that's
That is
crazy.
cool.
And I love how that story, like, it really does show how God was guiding you throughout the whole way. I mean, it worked out so well in the end, and it's something that you truly are passionate about today, too.
Yeah. It's crazy how that all works out because I talk about it with my dad to this day. My dad's like, wow, I think you did all of that when you were young just for this, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, any... What else?
Yeah, no, that's sick. That's sick. So pivoting a little bit, talking about Palestine a little bit. Yes. So one of our questions we had, so how do you use your platform and business to raise awareness and support for the struggles of Muslims globally?
Oof. Well, that's a deep question. From day one, I used my platform. All I have are the history and the stories that my father and his family, my Sido, who has passed away, God rest his soul, who was very close to me, my grandpa, and his story having to flee his household in 1948. And I remember the trauma and the look in his face when he was telling me about it. And he was, you know, he's the brother of 11 siblings. They were goat herders in Haifa. Our family owned literally a mountain, you know, and we were goat herders. That was our business, you know. And I remember him telling me how just soldiers came and they just had to leave and took over the whole land. Now our land has hotels. It's a tourist attraction. You know, Haifa is a coastal city. So, and he had to walk with his family all the way to Syria, you know, and land taken, stolen, war ever since, and just my family spread out everywhere all over the world, and some in Gaza, and it's just sad. I mean, my dad was born in Kuwait, but grew up in Syria, and then the whole Syria crisis happened in Damascus, around Damascus. And my family had to once again leave Syria and go into Jordan and Malaysia and all over the world. I mean, my family just hasn't had it easy, you know. There's literally thousands upon thousands of stories like this, you know. And before October 7th, it's literally been October 7th for 70 years. We're just now really, I mean, it's really bad right now, but just everyone's super tuned in because we fought back or we did something, you know, but every few years, you know, there was some sort of massacre or there's some sort of killing or there's some sort of, choke on us. And that we find out, it's like Palestine rises and goes down, right? That we were awareness and go down, you know. And then, but it's just constant abuse, constant, you know. And me being a Palestinian, never tuned it out. So when I started this business, I knew I wanted to do something for Palestine, and so every month my sadaqah goes to Palestine for my business, every single month, with outlets like Islamic Relief USA, PCRF, Anarwa,
It's beautiful. And if there's someone who's like scared to, support Palestine, to be vocal about it, what would you say to them? Like, yeah, I mean, there's so many people out there who are like, I care about them, but I don't want to risk this. I don't want to risk that.
I have empathy for that. Because to be honest with you, when October 7th went down, I think the whole world was in shock, including myself. And we were just all kind of like, whoa, and based on what you said, and I would be lying if I told you, I did feel that fear a little bit, because I was a big advocate for Palestine and voice, and I did these huge donations for Palestine back when I was a food truck, giving away all my proceeds, and so I did feel a week or two after that, like eyes were turning on me, and they were like, okay, Hisham, what are you gonna do? And so. Because people were coming to me during that time immediately after October 7th, because the massacres really started then, and children were dying, and we were all tuned in, right? And everyone was kind of like, what should we do? What can we do, Hisham? How can we give back? You are a philanthropist. How can you? I literally just said, I don't care. I'm going to do what I have to do for Palestine. I don't care if this takes down my business. Whatever, nothing. And I say this to everybody, but I respect to however you feel. Everybody has their own way of thinking, their deen or whatever. Nothing is worse than children dying for no reason. Nothing is worse than that. Losing your business is not worse than children dying. Thousands of children dying. I hit that crossroad, and I was like, F my business. Yeah. That's what I said to myself. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to use this platform, that I have been using. I would be a hypocrite when the time that matters the most, And for those of you who are afraid, I support you. Inshallah, other Muslims will too. And I think that it's strong now. And it has gotten better. We have binded together, and it's okay. Yeah. That's all I can say. It's just, inshallah, Allah will protect you and your deen and how you feel inside. And if you want to support Palestine, do it. Do it, because this, the Holocaust 2.0 on us that's happening will benefit, inshallah, the sacrifices, that the death will go, inshallah, with meaning, and people, inshallah, will turn around, and they already have started, and understanding, non-Muslims and non-understanding of what Palestine is. Palestine has never been broadcast as bigger than what it is now. And it's our job. If you speak up, if one person speaks up, that's one more that we need. And if we're all speaking together, and one more, converting and showing the truth together, then people are going to start understanding what Palestine is in the history. It's a simple Google search. It's all there, exactly. We want people to do that. Yeah. We want people to do their own research and not listen to CNN, or to, what the oppressor controls. We have to come together. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. Google it. It is. It's the fastest growing religion, which means Islam is extremely powerful, right? On its own, naturally, because it's the word of God. Nothing is stronger than that. Yep. Where we're weak is cultural, right? We are culturally, so to speak, broken. Using halal as reference, it's so hard for us to break bread together because of how we judge each other. We walk into a restaurant, and this person who has spent, like me, years trying to build their business plan taking the risks away from their family, working hours in a day, getting their licenses, getting their permits, getting the money sacrifice, all of it. Are they really trying to serve you non-halal after that? Like, they didn't cut corners and pennies trying to sacrifice getting this business going to lie to you. But we have the audacity to walk into some of these places and say, is everything here, are you sure it's halal? I've had people literally tell me to grab my meat with branding and bring it to them to the dining room. And I do it with a big smile on my face, because to the owners that are listening, be humble. Why fight? You're not the one who looks stupid, right? You're the good one. Especially if you have nothing to hide. So which I didn't, and here you go. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. But at the same time, it's sad. It's so sad that we have to be so paranoid on one another. And October 7th is a great example. We were shown at that time how weak we are as a people together. We were not bound. We weren't ready. We're not, we were immediately silenced by the oppressor, because the oppressor, the one thing that they do so well is they bind together. You don't see them bashing one another on Bay Area Halal Foodies or Bay Area Halal Kosher or Bay Area Kosher Foodies, right? You don't see something like that. They lift. And that's what we should do for one another. What's the first thing you see on Bay Area Halal Foodies? When you go on there and somebody takes the time to put advertisement out, hey, we are starting a halal, whatever, Chinese and this, whatever. And the first question you see is everything here 100% halal? Why jump there so quickly? The guy is posting on Bay Area Halal Foodies. He's not posting randomly, praise him. Brother, I'm coming to see you. I want to come. If you get there and you still have that in you, silently ask the owner, pull him aside. Do you have to do it so publicly? Because it almost comes off like you don't believe it. And that's the brokenness I'm talking about. It starts with food. Let's come together. Let's support one another. Let's get these halal businesses stronger. Let's get us on a stronger platform like you here, right here, podcast. What you're doing is amazing. And inshallah, you get thousands of views. Inshallah. Because it's beautiful. Let's get the information out. Let's come together.
Help each other grow.
Help each other. Why have we not? We're the fastest growing religion in the world. The fastest. What the heck? Yeah. Why are we not already like, when October 7th went down and the massacre started, there should have been people already helping us on the higher platforms, We were immediately silenced, and we're still trying to be silenced. They're still trying to silence us. They're still trying to change the narrative. No, there's children dying. There's women dying. Thousands upon thousands. What is it, like 40, 50,000 now? Like, hello? Yeah. If this was 40, 50,000 of anybody else, right? Yeah. And not 40, 50,000 soldiers. This is 40, 50,000 women, men, normal people who were living there. My own family, right? If we just come together as a culture, cultures, we're Muslim cultures, right? Coming together and just helping us step slowly. Start with bread. Let's break bread together and let's support. Let's not just, we're so focused on who's the better Muslim, who's the better halal, Where is the halal angel police coming up? Who assigned this duty to you, right? So if you go in and you ask a brother politely, is this halal? And he says yes, and it's not, let him burn for it with Allah. That's between him and Allah. Yeah. You don't have to light the match. Nobody asked you to. You know what I mean? So, khalas, it's with him, eat, right? Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm so passionate about this because I want to see our people, I want to see us strong together, and only for us to progress and stay away from this massacres that are happening. Peace. Islam is peace, right? Yep. Somehow the narrative's changed on that to the public people who they don't know. They don't know that's what we're about. Mm-hmm. They don't know because the oppressor makes us different. That's true. Right? Because what they do is they make each other stronger to keep us down. Yeah, it's I don't care. I'll say this. I'll say how it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely, like you mentioned, it starts with the small steps, like making bread. If we can't even unite on making something, like figuring out how to eat at restaurants and like support each other, then how we're going to grow and create good media, create like, I know there's like a few brothers in San Francisco who for the first time they've started like a startup in accelerator, which is for Muslims specifically. And it's doing amazing because nothing like that has been done before. Because just people haven't been able to unite. Mm-hmm. People haven't been able to take that step and actually believe that there are enough people in this world who will help you do these things and help you grow. Only if we can come together together and help each other grow.
We can never grow and become, a bigger, whatever your dream is, right? As a Muslim, me as a Muslim personally, I use my own self. I know that it takes people. I'm a restaurant. Of course, it takes people to help me achieve my dream. I know we need everybody. I need their help, But if you're looking at me and just judging me on the fact that I have tattoos, or whatever, right? Or the fact that you're unsure, then that alone to me, like judging a book by its cover, is probably, for me in the food business, the worst sin you can do. Do your research, figure it out, or just talk to the owner. Just have a simple conversation, privately. There's no reason to use a platform for that. That to me just shows that you're trying to find some negativity and put it down, right? So
before we go on to our little rapid fire segment, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite part about being a chef every single day? What motivates you to start the day and get to work?
Oh, God. I don't feel like I'm working every day. What motivates me is being able to serve people quality food, amazing food, creation, artistry.
Beautiful, sweet and simple. I love it. All right, so we give our guests 3 minutes every single episode for a little rapid fire segment. You ready?
Sure. Is this like you ask and I
exactly.
answer quick?
Exactly. So as short of an anscer, we'll try to keep it really quick.
One words?
One word to let's say one sentence.
All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
All right. Rapid fire. Here we go. Oh, you want to start it this time?
Yeah, I'll start.
All right. Timers, 3 minutes. Go for it.
All right. So, what are your top 3 favorite cuisines, starting from least to most?
Least? Top 3 would be Mediterranean, Filipino, Mexican.
Amazing. What's your go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food. Canned sardines with white rice.
Interesting.
Wow.
Oh my God, I can't believe I said
favorite
that.
restaurant in the Bay, aside from your own?
Favorite restaurant in the Bay, aside from my own? Oh, man. I never eat out.
We can skip that one if you want.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Let's go back to that.
Okay, for sure.
God,
burritos or tacos?
Tacos. God, that's hard. Tacos.
Beef or chicken?
Beef.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. Does pineapple belong in pizza?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, Yasser Arafat.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you usually relieve stress?
Never really goes away, but I go to the gym.
Okay.
Right on.
Yeah.
What is your proudest accomplishment to date?
El Halal Amigos.
Right on.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was easy.
What skill are you eager to learn next?
Actually, my least favorite thing to do is bake and pastries. So I'm eager to learn that.
Okay.
Even though I hate it.
How would you describe yourself in just 3 words?
Oh, intense, passionate, humble.
Right.
Nice. What's your all-time favorite movie?
Braveheart.
Cool.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite family tradition?
Yes. My family all comes together well, it's a kind of a new tradition now, but my entire family from both sides, my mom and dad and my wife, comes together now for my daughter's birthday.
Nice.
Right
Like
on.
it's like huge every year.
Amazing. Can you walk me through your morning routine?
I usually wake up at 6:30 in the morning. Even no matter how late I sleep, I'm up early. Cup of coffee first thing, then banana, Activia. I burped a few times in your show. I have really bad heartburn all the time. It never ends. It's my curse as a chef. But then I go to the gym every morning, or I do some sort of exercise, and then I go right into work around 9:10 in the morning, and I'm usually there forever. Jumping from restaurant to restaurant.
That's good.
Yeah.
Board games or video games, and which do you prefer?
Video games. I'm sorry.
Who was your childhood hero?
Childhood hero. Up until his weird stuff started coming out, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Right on. What is one skill you believe everyone should have?
Empathy.
Empathy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. That was 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Amazing.
That was
Okay.
hard. Favorite restaurant's killing me right now.
Yeah.
Chipotle. No, wait, did I say that out loud? No, I'm just kidding. God, favorite restaurant. Anywhere. You know what my favorite food is? Please, anyone listening to me, DM me. Where can I find some good paella? Like, it's a Pakistani dish. Paella.
Paya's
And
grill? No.
Not paella. Not paella. Paella. It's like this curry with bone mutton, like stuffed, like bone marrow, like from the goat, and it's called paella. So good. It's so good. Yeah, dude. I think it's Pakistani. Yeah. Actually, I love Pakistani food. I would say that I really, really like Pakwan a lot. Yeah. Not very. Oh, they have ganan. I like that too. Their kebabs are good. But like, again, I have heartburn, so I can't eat there very often. It's almost like a curse.
For the listeners, if there's any key points that you want them to take away from today's episode, what would you say this should be?
Yeah. I don't feel like I work a day in my life. I don't feel like I'm working. And so the curse with that is that the time flies through the day. But really, really try to pursue something that you feel, that you're good at, and that you can kind of feel like when you're at work, you're not really working. And I mean, that to me is a fulfillment, because we all have to work. We all have to make money. And I know it's really hard in the Silicon Valley, and then you fall in these routines and we all get depressed and it sucks. But if you kind of, if you can just stop kind of looking at like the social media trends of what happiness is, and just be like, we're all not going to become LeBron James, okay? We're not going to live like him and have all those advantages. And money is really not everything. But if you can try to find the what you love to do and find an industry that helps you tap into your artistry and your creativity and love it, then making money, like, who cares? Like, money will just come if you're good at something, because people will be drawn to it. And that's what I kind of like want people to understand. Like, I don't do this for money. Like, yes, I need to live. Yes, I need to pay my bills, and that's it. Like, I don't care about being rich. I can lose El Halal Amigos, God forbid, next month, and I would feel very fulfilled on what I do, what I've accomplished, But I'd go right back to trying to find a job where I can fulfill my artistry and do cooking and all of that, right? So I really want the listeners, the younger listeners, to just like money is not happiness. Yes, it solves a lot of problems, but just like, that find your peace, like, be at peace. Try to do something where you find your peace, like Islam gives you peace, like, try to find that balance. And actually, the key to life is balance to everything. actually, you without even knowing, you're spending your entire life trying to find that balance. You're just balancing. That's all you do. We're all, you know what I tell people, what I'm like? My life with restaurants, SAP center, food truck, events, catering, I'm like, you ever seen the juggling act where the guy's spinning plates in a circus and he has like the straws and he's like spinning? This is my life. Making sure the plates don't fall.
Yeah.
Like, it really is like
balancing
that.
off that.
I'm just a balancing act.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Chef Hisham, you can also reach out to us at info@journeytours.org.
Yeah.
And we can definitely
usually
connect
what we
them with
do.
you.
You
Yep.
send them to us, and then we send them to.
Uh-oh.
So you don't get bombarded.
Hey, this guy is like screaming at me about what you said.
But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much, Chef Hisham, for joining us on this episode. It was a beautiful episode. I mean, we learned so much.
Yeah.
We spoke for a good 1.5 hours, which is
wow.
amazing. And it's a lot of value that we got.
Oh my God,
so
1.5 hours. Are you guys still here? Are the people still listening?
if you're still listening, shout out to whoever you are. And thank you so much for watching this episode of the Journey Tours podcast.
Yep.
This was Muhammad Hadi, and this was Aliyah Matkur. You can catch all of our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other podcast platforms that are out there, and on YouTube as a video podcast. And inshallah, we'll see you in the next podcast.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Orale Habibi.
Orale Habibi. That's it.